let's start off with Guardians of the Galaxy. Volume 3. Director James Gunn. Last run with the Guardians. This main cast. Last run, at least we presume, for these main Guardians. The Guardians of the Galaxy may live on past this movie, right? But with this core cast, I would say you should not expect to see Peter Quill in the middle of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the future, potentially for Secret Wars, just like we saw him working with the Avengers during Infinity War, okay, and then showing up at the end of Endgame. Sorry, spoiler alert. But I don't even think it's a guarantee that he shows up in Secret Wars at this point. I really don't. I think it's a I think it is a possibility, not even a high one. I would actually bet that he doesn't show up and the Guardians don't show up. So this movie releases May 5th in theaters. Ricky Flicks, give me, I guess, your primary takeaway from this trailer that dropped today.
Okay, primary takeaway. So only one. This is emotional. This is going to hit you. And you thought Guardians 2 was going to hit you, and it did. I think this is going to be worse by a lot. And I think he's trying to hint at you like, this is my last rodeo. This is our last rodeo. And we're going out not with a bang, but with a bang, but something that you might be crying. I felt my heart drop when Rocket was we'll all fly away together one last time. I was like, oh my God. And he's like, I'm tired of running. And Quill's yelling. It looks like next to a bed, hospital bed. Someone might be dying. And the song just really got you in the emotions. And the song's about acceptance of oneself. And James Gunn's been talking about at Comic-Con in San Diego earlier this year, Rocket and how he wanted to build that story throughout the 3 films. And it looks like here, clearly flashbacks here with a young Rocket, baby raccoon. Internet's taking that by storm. The emotions there. So just the primary takeaway here is just the emotional hit or toll you're going to go through watching this movie. And this trailer is just totally hinting at that.
100%. It goes a full 180 after the first 20 seconds of the trailer, where it has the Billy Madison-esque Drax, absolutely dropping a kid with a dodgeball. And then it goes into, hey, this is the last ride. And it feels like the last ride. We've heard about this idea that it's going to be a focus on Rocket, right? And his journey, something where he has typically, I thought there was a really telling line where he says, I'm done running, and he cocks the gun. Last time we saw him in Infinity War, he rides with Groot and Thor. So here he's confronting, right, his past, it looks like. We get a flashback. We get baby Rocket, baby Groot on the hot seat. Baby Groot is on the absolute hot seat in this movie because, baby Rocket looks cute AF. He's cute AF. And I think it's you show him getting emotional. You see him maybe talking to someone or at least hugging someone that he has an emotional connection with, whether that be a former family member, someone he grew up alongside. It looked like almost a Beaver/Badger type of figure, someone that maybe also, right, was given ability similar to him by this certain figure. Could that figure be the High Evolutionary played by one Chiwetel Ejiofor, right? Known for Peacemaker, okay? A series that we loved from earlier this year from DC and one James Gunn. I'm excited to see where he goes. I'm going to tell you, Ricky Flex, this might be, I'm going to put this on the line right now. This is going to be the performance that Chris Pratt will be known for. This is the one people will point to. Is he a good actor? They will point to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Honestly. And when you think about, what would you say right now is his best performance? You'd probably say the first Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe. You could even say the second, but it's not Moneyball, right? It's not Wanted. It's not Her. It's not these small roles. It's definitely not Jurassic World. But the emotion I saw in this trailer, I've never seen him do this. Chris Pratt. I've never seen him nearly cry on screen to this extent and put so much passion into this role. This is going to be his best performance. I know the story is circling around Groot, but we can't forget the dynamic of Gamora in this movie. And we're going to get to her in a sec. But I think this is like he is the center of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm actually looking forward to his performance almost more so than anyone else's, right? What are your thoughts on Peter Quill in this trailer?
I think you kind of like said it there with his resume. He doesn't have a lot on his resume, so if this is his best performance ever, I wouldn't be shocked. But for me, like I don't think Chris Pratt is a good actor. I think he's a movie star, a la like Vinny Chase, Entourage. Like I promise I can make you a movie star, but not a good actor. Like I feel like that's Chris Pratt's career, and I think this won't change it. And yes, he's crying and all this stuff, but I just think this trailer, at least this teaser trailer, I'm not gonna say he's bad, but to say like this is going to be a revolution. I'm not saying you're saying this, but I don't think this is going to change anything. I think he'll put his whole heart into it, and this will be his best performance he's ever done. Yeah, I'll agree with that. But hey, let's not forget this man is doing Amazon Prime movies, The Tomorrow War. Like
Terminal List, dude, one of the biggest shows of 2022.
Yeah, I know. You're more the show's guy than me.
You're just anti-show. I'm not just a show guy. You're anti-show. That's the difference.
I'm not anti-show. I love TV shows. I love prestige
anti.
TV, but that's not true prestige TV in my eyes. But we'll see. We'll see.
Action.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. This is like everyone's last ride, and if anyone's going to be like their official last time in the Guardians, like actually actors, he would be the first guy. So I think he has to put in like the best performance he's ever done. His back's against
the whole franchise, a sub-franchise of the Marvel Cinematic Universe has centered around him, right? He's the one who brings together this ragtag group of heroes. He is the lead. The second movie, it's Ego. He is the son of Ego, the main villain, and he has the one-on-one duel at the end. Right? Although they want to talk about Groot all you want, people want to know how you're going to wrap up Peter Quill's story. And I think this is going to be the role that defines Chris Pratt. And I do want to say, Gamora makes an appearance in this. And it's the Gamora, the original Gamora, because we know the one that appears in Endgame is not the original Gamora. There is a moment in this trailer where Gamora is holding up a picture, I presume, of maybe the Guardians, maybe a Peter Quill, okay? But I think what James Gunn's about to do is going to like subvert the expectations of audiences. Everyone thinks this story is going to be focusing on the Guardians trying to find Gamora. I think it is Gamora trying to find the Guardians. This movie so far, especially this franchise, excuse me. The first movie, it's Peter chasing Gamora. Second, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, right? It's more about the relationship between Kurt Russell's Ego, right? Father-son with Peter Quill. Infinity War, Gamora is accepting her relationship with Peter, right? But I think we're going to recognize that Gamora, now that she's back after the events of Infinity War, right, with Thanos, when she's pushed off a cliff and all of a sudden she's back, she wants to find Peter, right? She feels that he is the one that she belongs with. I think she is going to find them and then joins the final battle for against the High Evolutionary. What do you think about that take, right? Do you think we could be subverting audiences' expectations here?
I like that take, but after seeing the if you said that take before the trailer, I would believe it more. But this trailer, it seems like she's going to be in a lot of the movies. She was in it 3 separate times, okay, in 2 separate outfits, and with the Guardians at one point in like a jail type setting. So I don't know if I think she'll be with the Guardians before the 3rd act, like maybe even after the 1st act. She might be in the majority of this movie, I think. So I think it's going to be more around Rocket, because clearly like there's that Rocket will be a center point. They're talking about his origin stories. They've kind of been building up to this in the trilogy. And I agree with your take with the High Evolutionary. And that's why we have Will Poulter here, and Adam Warlock. And we haven't even talked about him yet. Big glow up. So yeah, that's going to be the 3rd act. I agree. But I think she's going to be more involved in the movie than just that.
I would say so too, because it's the last run. Like she's going to be in more than half the movie, but it could be when she's away from the Guardians. It's like building up towards that eventual team up at the end. So it's like going from Gamora, her journey, and the Guardians, what they're doing at the moment from the beginning to the middle, almost like a meetup before the final act. That's my take, and I'll stick to it. Will Poulter, let's talk about him. Adam Warlock, he looks sick. He looks like a high, powerful being. This is the character we can expect to carry over from this movie. What we think of as Marvel audiences is the next movie, the next project. That's classic, right? MCU. Here we have the last run of the Guardians, but what's the carryover? Most likely it's going to be Adam Warlock, potentially in another team up movie. We got like the Cosmos here potentially showing up, maybe in Eternals 2. I can see that happening, maybe in his own series, maybe his own movie. He was an integral figure in the comics for the Infinity Gauntlet, right? The Infinity Saga, I should say, similar to what we had with Infinity War. He missed out on that, okay, based on the timing there. I assume he's going to be a centerpiece going into the future, a young, bright star in Hollywood. I guess, how do you think he factors into this story, right? Because last time we checked in with him, he was alongside, right, an early villain of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Elizabeth Debicki, okay, and those gold people. Don't ask me what their name is because I don't know. But she teases in one of the 5 post-credit scenes of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 that Adam Warlock is coming. So do you think like maybe we get a revisit from Elizabeth Debicki here? And if we do so, like how is he getting intertwined with the Guardians here? Do you think he maybe like I'm just going to throw out some hypotheticals. He is hunting down the Guardians and then he finds out, right, he has to join them in some capacity. Do you think that's the most logical way?
Yeah, I was thinking that like the gold people come back. I don't ask me their name either, or tell him to go find the Guardians and kill them. But then like High Evolutionary has like this master plan to take over the galaxy or universe, whatever you want to say, and then they have to be the Guardians of the Galaxy. And Adam Warlock has to help them because he's way too powerful with all his toys and everything. So that's kind of like what I was thinking. But I like your take with the carryover because I think not only won't the Guardians be in Secret Wars, but I don't think it's from a character's perspective. I think it's just because you don't really trust anybody else besides James Gunn with these characters. I think they're too set in stone. A trilogy, an era is ending, so I think that's what it's going to be. And you have to have some sort of carryover in this phase because you wouldn't just make this movie if you're a part of the MCU and not have anything connect to the outer MCU. Right? You have to have something. And Adam Warlock is he's the new guy, and he's way too powerful not to just be in one movie. So I think that's the clear carryover. In Eternals, I think that's a great shout. That's a clear connection there. Secret Wars, you could do something there. I think you have to have something carry over, and he's the clear, the obvious choice.
Okay. And I'm very excited to see him. And this is I think this is going to be his breakthrough. And it's something that we've been looking at, right? We've seen the beginning of his career with We're the Millers, and then Will Poulter going to Bandersnatch. We've seen him do the Maze Runner franchise. And then Midsummer, all of a sudden, here comes the potential breakthrough, right? I am rooting for this guy. I think he pulls off the look. He's got a very interesting look. And I just see him as a Marvel hero, right? And I like that they're catching him like potentially at the breakthrough, right? So good for him. This is where a lot of people do make that next step is through Marvel now. Okay. Do you think this could be better? Do you think this could be the best Guardians of the Galaxy movie?
It could. Yeah, it seems like it has the emotional weight to it. And based on what you were saying for Quill, if it has his best performance to carry the movie with a story with Rocket, who seems to be adored, I think it could be. Now, it's hard to get over that origin movie flavor, all right, that people love. But if you do something like Winter Soldier and that's creative, unique, different, and just really hits audiences well, then you could be the original, just like Winter Soldiers with Captain America: First Avenger. So I think it's definitely possible. This trailer is a great start. Now it's just a lot of moving parts with this, and especially for a trilogy ending. Everything is coming to an end, not unlike Winter Soldier. So you really got to put these pieces together well. And obviously, you have the man to do it with James Gunn, and the cast are all well suited together. Incorporate Will Poulter and you could pronounce it for me, the High Evolutionary properly.
Shiwichi Uiji.
Thank you. And then yeah, it has the chance.
I think James Gunn is putting everything into this movie. Who knows the next time he's going to be in a director's chair now that he is at DC Studios as the CEO, co CEO, running things there. Who knows if he will step in the director's chair again? He's going to make the most of this opportunity. It's his last run with Marvel before he makes the cross to the other side officially and no turning back. I'm so excited for what he's going to do here. And I like also Chiwetel Ejiofor as the villain. It's not a huge name. It's going to take away from the cast here for the Guardians in their last run. Usually you like a big name villain. That hasn't paid off recently in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, okay? Like Christian Bale, for example, in Thor Love and Thunder. Do someone that Gunn has familiarity with, that is a talented actor, but also give room for the Guardians to shine. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait.
Yeah, and my last two takeaways here, besides it being emotional, my second takeaway from this would be the song. The third, this was visually incredible, right? It looked amazing. Like I was thoroughly impressed with the way this movie looks, right? Just by the trailer. That was amazing to see. So I would say that. Finally, anyone from the group dying here?
Mantis. That's the one that's dying. Someone that's built up as much as you don't want to admit, right? From the holiday special. Someone that has a connection with Peter. Gamora ain't dying again. I don't think they're going to kill the main character in Peter Quill. I think he's going to have the happily forever after with a Gamora. Rocket and Groot is one that I could see carrying over actually into the extended part of the MCU because one, right, Vin Diesel doesn't have to do much to play this character. It could be all graphics, pretty much all CGI to actually capture that character. Same thing with Rocket. And I think like eventually it's almost inevitable you're going to have a Rocket and Groot series. You need to have that. So in my opinion, right, Mantis is the one to go. Drax, right? I think Drax at the end of this movie finds love. I think like Drax is someone that has been missing love and has been someone that has dreaded right his past. I think he's moving on to a brighter future by the end of this movie, and then you have Mantis basically right after having this connection now. This connection now established with the holiday special, I think she's gone.
Yeah, I was thinking because like that yelling scene with Quill, I'm like, who's dying there? And I'm like, Rocket's too easy because they give him all the lines in this trailer that basically alludes to like him, like he's gonna die. So I don't think so. Groot's already had a death, so we can't do that either. Gamora, same thing. And I think he's been depressed for 2 movies in a row. He's been depressed since 2017. So like we can't end the trilogy with him being depressed. Him and Gamora happily ever after.
Drax might be Drax. Drax is right there with Mantis. Now I'm thinking about it.
So Drax seems like the one with me. He can go away with his family. I think that's the one for me where he could like die happily, right?
Gladiator style.
Exactly. So I think that's the one for me. I like Mantis, especially because Quill's yelling like that. I feel like sister now, like officially know, like that's her sister. Maybe really emotional with that. I could see Mantis too, but my first thought was Drax. And I could see Rocket too, actually. Now I say that because this movie, like again, this movie's gonna be around him a lot. I'm not saying it will be. I don't think it will be, but I could also see that. That's like my third. If I had to do a top three, he would be my third.
Because Groot died at the beginning of the first Guardians of the Galaxy. So like maybe you could have Rocket there. But to me, it's Mantis and Drax. It's like basically competing for the death spot. Right?
And
What's going to cause Peter to
agree.
react that way? It's probably Mantis, but also, right, Drax, you could see him biting the dust because who does he have left? Like Mantis has someone left with Peter now. Peter has Gamora. Gamora has Peter. Right? Rocket and Groot have each other. Right. And we have also Rocket connections that are being established in this movie. Who doesn't? Drax has his family, but he's going to sacrifice himself for his family. You know, I could see that happening at the end. That's all. So I think it's 1-2 with those two. Final thought. This is Marvel's comeback season 2, right? This is the comeback season, right? Following lackluster phase 4, Wakanda Forever, No Way Home, probably the highlights of Phase 4. Pretty lackluster when you think of the high points of Infinity War, Endgame, Phase 3. We're starting off with a bang. We're going Quantumania. I think the Marvels come out before Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but just to have two of the three. Actually, no, I believe that's the fall. I believe that's the fall. But to have the
Guardians
start
May.
of Phase 5 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to have Quantumania introduce the big bad with, right, Jonathan Majors as Kang, and then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, it's comeback season, baby. Right? LeBron mode, right? Eyebrows down, Miami Heat jersey. That's what I'm thinking.